spotted me. I didn't spot you.
Yeah, so I was a student teacher assigned to Grand Ledge High School where Sarah was working in her first year. And my mentor teacher was also like her kind of like mentor-y sort of a thing. So she introduced me to her, and it was kind of like, I thought she was pretty cute. I wouldn't call it love at first sight, but I was definitely attracted to her. And then my mentor teacher took us all out, and heard that she had a boyfriend in California, so I was like, well, all right, that's it. But did my student teaching, and then had I think a sub opportunity, and me being the it wasn't very cool, but I sent her an email basically stating like
I still have the email.
that I enjoyed subbing for her, and that if she wanted to hang out, she should call me. At which she replied with an email to be like, no, you need to call me.
I did. I saw his number, and so I put it in my phone so that when he called me, I could screen it, and I made him leave a message. I knew when he was calling me.
Yep. And she still plays that message to this day, periodically.
It's really cute.
Fun. So yeah, it was that. That's what it was. Was in the car?
No.
When I dropped you off?
No.
No.
You had watched him. You'd either drop me off or watch the movie. You dropped me off at my apartment. It was one of those like you're talking, you're like, this is gonna happen, and you left.
He left from the car
and texted me, and then he
back
came back.
And I remember in my head thinking like, oh, this is like a movie moment, where it's like, oh, the guy leaves.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and knocks on the door, like she's like, oh my gosh, and then all of a sudden he hears a knock on the door, and it's her hero or whatever.
Yeah.
But I had to do it via text.
Just
because your apartment wouldn't let me in. Your complex.
Like buzzing.
So yeah, I think I remember like in my head thinking, oh, this is gonna be really cool,
Yeah.
and then being like, oh, this is super lame.
No, it was very nice. And then he left, so it was very nice. And then I had my moment where I was like, I'm in my bed.
Was that like the night? Was that after our first date though?
No.
You ate all that food?
No, that was not the first date. You did not kiss me till like 5-6 dates in.
Gotcha. Another impressive feat with her was our very first date. I took her to my favorite Italian place that no longer exists, but I love that place and talked it up. And I barely picked up my food because I was, just trying to be
You had the smallest
gentleman.
portion of masticholi I've ever
And she
seen.
got the combo plate, which is like lasagna, cannelloni, spaghetti, and she ate it all.
All of it. I was like, poor teacher. I was a poor teacher.
Yeah. And my grandma was a big Italian woman who was just like, if you're not fat, you're not, eating, and, always was telling us to eat more and more and more. And she was gone before I met you, but I was like, Grandma Rita would have been proud. I think for me, I don't know if there's necessarily like a moment that like sticks out in my mind, but we talk about this one a lot.
Oh my gosh.
We had she had a friend who was getting married in Chicago, destination wedding, and so we drove down and we got a hotel and all that kind of stuff, and we thought it might be kind of fun to go to Six Flags.
We went to Six Flags.
Yeah. And the very first ride we went on, they say that you're going to lose your keys if you don't store them, and we did. And then we were like worried that we weren't going to be able to drive to the hotel. Like, what do we do? Keys are gone. And so, long story short, we got into a huge fight. And I broke up with her on the way home. It was on her birthday.
It was bad.
And it was really bad. And then we mended things. And so for me, it was kind of like, okay, if she can put up with my nonsense through all that,
It was definitely a long break.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, like, he called me multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Because I think it was kind of like I let her push her away and realized what I was missing. And
yeah.
So I think that was kind of...
It was a hard push, so, yeah.
She means everything. She's I think the biggest thing, and the reason why I love her so much is because she is like unfledging in her love and support of me. I've had a lot of career changes, a lot of ups and downs, and some personal strife in my life, and I can always count on her 100% of the time to be in my corner. She is my rock. It's cliche to say, but she's my biggest supporter and my number one fan. Has seen me through a lot of hardships, and it's not always easy to open up to your friends about that and family, but I can always count on her to just be open and honest and have a crying conversation when I lose somebody, or have a real conversation about I don't like my job and I want to switch careers, but we have a whole family to support, and she's been great every single time.
I'm a quirky type of person. Like, if you're married to a teacher, it takes a lot because we don't stop working ever. Teaching for me is like a full-time, 24/7, all the time. So for what he means to me is that I can be who I want to be, like at all times. Because he was a teacher, he understands the stress that I have. Because he was a journalism kid in high school, like he gets what I do. So the fact that I want to run a workshop at Michigan State for journalism kids, or that I run field trips, like, you don't have to do the extras when you're a teacher. You don't have to take kids on field trips. You can just come in, punch in, do your job, and leave. But for me, it's all the time. So if I'm like, we're going to have a stay late day, he's like, how do I support you? So, yeah.